There we go. Okay. Was that?
They one of the worst teams.
No, they're high ranked. Yeah, they're a good team. Okay. I felt bad for the Canadian there. RJ Barrett missed his free throw at the end there and sort of did the mint. Okay, page 30, we're looking at compound interest. And again, it looks really confusing, but once you've done it a few times, it's not too bad. So here's an example to calculate the total value of an investment with compound interest. So what's it going to be worth later? So Yuri invests $3,775 in a financial institution, not necessarily a bank, right? One of the largest investment companies in Canada is right there, that building right there. Anybody know what that is? What building is that?
Investors Group?
It's Investors Group, yeah. They're one of Canada's largest investment firms. And I think their central base is out of Winnipeg. Don't quote me on that. I think they're based out of Winnipeg. But that's the main building right there. So you go over there and say, if you walk over there and say, I got $10,000, what should I do with it? You see like 20 people run towards you. I know what to do with it. Okay. Should try that. It'd be funny, actually. Okay. Yuri invests this much money in a financial institution. So first of all, this amount of money, what letter is that in the formula?
P.
P. Yeah, that's your starting amount. So that's your P. So we'll put a P there. It's 4.75%. That's not the number I'm going to use in my calculator. What's the decimal I'm going to use?
0.0475.
Yeah, 0.0475. And that's going to be my R, right? R for rate. Okay. And it's compounded annually. Annual means yearly. Okay. There's a little chart up here. Annually means just once a year. So we just go n equals 1. Just put n equals 1. So you got to pay attention to these words here. Daily would be 365 times. Weekly would be 52. Bi-weekly would be 26. So there's a chart for you there based on the question, so you know which n number to use. Okay? And what else do we know? The total value of the investment at the end of 2 years. Which letter is that? Which letter in here is the 2 years? The T.
Oh,
T. T equals 2 years. Okay, so A equals my starting amount, which was 3,775. 1 plus my rate is 0.0475. My n is 1. Then up here, I'm going to go 1 multiplied by t, which is 2. Or just 1 times 2 is 2. Okay? And just be really careful when you punch it in, and you should be okay. So 3,775 times, open bracket, parentheses if you prefer, round bracket, 1 plus 0.0475 divided by 1, close bracket. Use your exponent key. On mine it's the yx. Yours might just be a little roof. You should. That's why we did that in the last unit. You should know which key on your calculator is the exponent key. And I'll use brackets again, 1 times 2. Then you just hit equals. And that money should have gone up. It did. Not a lot, but it won't go up that much. It's only 2 years and the interest rate's not that high, right? So the new amount, the final amount is $4,140.14. Okay, so that's what it grew to. It's gone up. Okay. And an example 2. Calculating the amount of interest. Okay, so in this one, if you only want to know the amount of interest earned, find A using your formula. So same thing. You start the same way as we just did. But then once you get your final amount answer, to find out how much of it was interest, just subtract the starting amount. So then just do A minus P, and that'll give you your answer. Take your final amount, subtract your starting amount. So it's an extra step if you want to know how much was interest. So in this last example here, if I wanted to know how much interest was earned, I would just go 4142.14, subtract 37.75. That will tell you how much interest. Okay. So we'll do it. The first step is always the same. You're just going to use that formula, and you just need to practice using it. And then you might have extra steps based on what the question is. So that's where it's going to become important to look at the language. Okay? So let's just do it. So here, this time we're investing $4,000. My interest rate is 5.5%. What would that be as a decimal? Yeah, 0.055. If you're not sure, remember you can go 5 plus 1/2 and then divide by 100. And that'll show you what the rate you should use is, 0.055. Okay, and this time it says it's compounded daily. So how many times do they calculate the interest in a year?
365.
365. So you put the 365 down there. And you have to use the 365 again there. There's another little trick. Whatever number goes in the bottom here also goes up there. Okay. Then that 365 gets multiplied by the number of years, which is 3 in this question. So let's punch that in. 4,000 times 1 plus 0.055 divided by 365 to the exponent, 365 times 3. And this one grows to $4,717.51. So interest earned is just going to be that amount, take away the 4,000, which you can do pretty fast without probably using a calculator. What's $4,717.51 minus 4,000?
717.
Yeah, just eliminate the 4 and you get it. So interest earned, A minus P, is 4,717.51 minus 4,000, which is $717.51. So it didn't earn that much money, but better than nothing. The best thing about actually putting money away into some kind of an investment or savings account is that you don't spend it. Right? I had one of my grandfathers didn't trust banks. Maybe that's where I get it from. But he refused to put money into a bank. So he'd get his pension checks, he'd cash them, and he kept it all in a toolkit. Just kept it locked up in a toolkit.
There's a guy at a restaurant that did that. He didn't like banks.
Yeah.
And he had over $1 million in his thing, and his place burned down.
Oh, that's the risk. Yeah, you shouldn't really keep cash on hand. Plus, if someone finds out about it, someone's gonna break in. Right?
I think it was in Vegas.
Yeah.
There's a place on Chinese restaurant burned down.
$1 million.
Yeah.
Terrible.
He had it in a bunch of dressers.
Stranger things have happened. Page 31. An example 3. Agar has just inherited $5,500. He wants to invest it in a GIC. GIC is just a type of investment. You'll see banks will have a thing, GICs. It's called a guaranteed investment certificate. It just means that it's protected by the government. So you'll get the money back no matter what. In reality, all Canadian financial institutions are generally pretty safe. The only time you hear about people losing money is if they go through like a personal investment person and then that person rips them off. If they tell them that they've invested the money and they haven't, or, you know, so, but in general, the institutions they're governed by the, you know, government of Canada. They tend to be pretty safe. His credit union gives him an interest rate of 4.25%, compounded quarterly. It's 4 times a year. Calculate the amount of interest his money would earn after 5 years. So again, we're going to have to find the final amount and subtract off the starting amounts. This is my P. My R is 0.0425. Quarterly means that N equals 4, and 5 years is my T. That's everything I need to be able to do it. Just identify the different letters. I like to write out the formula myself every time. That way it commits to memory. You can pop quiz me tomorrow. What's the compound interest formula? And I can tell you right out of my head because I've written it down so many times. It's there, right? It's automatic. Okay, so 5,500, 1 plus 0.0425 over 4, and up here it's going to be 4 times 5. Once you've done a few of these, you'll get the hang of it and you'll be fine. Generally, students do pretty well on these questions on the test. Okay, my final answer is 6794.59. Okay, so that's what it grew to. The $5,500 has grown to $6,794.59. To find out how much interest that is, just subtract the starting amount. So A minus P is going to be 6794.59 minus 5,500. Those of you that don't like to use a calculator, I can just subtract 55 from 67. What's 67 subtract 55? 12. And the other numbers, I can just keep them as is. Or you can use a calculator, whatever you want. So $1,294.59 interest earned. How many more examples are there? Just one. Oh, sorry. Move that a bit fast. Example 4. A, calculate the amount of interest earned on an investment of $1,000 at 6% for 4 years. If simple interest, if you see the word simple, you got to use that old formula. That's the I equals PRT one. So this is a question, and this, you could get something like this on an exam. It's going to get you to compare the two things. If you're investing money, which one do you think is better for you? Simple interest or compound interest?
Depends how much interest.
Yeah, compound is better because you earn interest on the interest. The idea of simple interest is you take the money out. So if you put $1,000 away and at the end of the year they pay you $100 for that, the $100 you take it out and you just put the $1,000 back, which means you're only ever earning interest on $1,000. Whereas with compounding, you leave the $100 in and it grows as well. So you have your principal amount that grows, plus the interest you've earned will grow as well. So compounding is good for you for investing. And actually, I don't think you can actually get simple interest from a bank. I don't think it exists. And if you said you'd prefer to earn simple interest, you would just confuse them. Actually, that might be fun to do too. I'm gonna put that on my list of things. I'm trying to make myself a mental list of things I want to do when I retire. Just go and drive people crazy, like.
Yeah, it's sort of simple.
go into banks, I'm looking for a simple interest investment. Just to see what they do. Okay. Maybe I could make like a Netflix show, like Driving People Crazy with Todd. Go into places like that. Okay. So this one, I would just go I equals PRT, like we did a couple assignments ago. It would be 1,000 multiplied by 0.06 times 4. So I could just punch that in. And the simple interest earned on that investment would be $240 earned. Simple interest earned. 240 bucks. Okay, B, calculate the amount that would be earned if compound interest is used. So notice the interest rate's the same, 6%, same number of years. The only difference is that the interest will earn interest. So it should work out to be, in this kind of a question, you would expect that the number is going to be a little bit bigger than 240. It might be much bigger because it's not that many years and the interest rate's not that high, but it should be more. Okay? And then you know you've done it right. If it's a test or something and you're doing like compare a simple interest to compound interest, your compound interest one better be a little bit higher. That sort of lets you know mentally, hey, I think I did this right. Okay? So let's do this one. This time, 1,000, 1 plus 0.06 over 1, because compounded annually. And then up here it's going to be 1 times 4. So let's see how that looks in a calculator. 1,000 times. So it grows to 1262.48, and then you need to subtract the starting amount to find out how much interest earned. What's 1262 minus 1,000? 262.48. Is it a little bit bigger than the 240? Yeah. So I'm pretty confident I did it right. So if I compare that one to that one, the compound interest one is a little bit bigger because the interest earned interest, not just the principal. C, we've already answered. If you're investing, which one would you choose? A or B? B, for sure. Right. Assuming you prefer to make more money rather than less. I think everyone's going to choose B. So compound interest is the better investment if interest rates are the same. So eventually what will happen in some of your questions and possibly in a test question is it'll get you to compare two investments. One might be simple interest at a higher interest rate, and one might be compound interest at a lower interest rate. Just because it's compound, it doesn't mean it's better. It's definitely better if they're the same interest rate. What's that?
Is that a B-E-T? What is that one?
Investment?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a better investment. So what that means, like, if in A it had been 7%, then when I would have done all this multiplication, I would have got like $280. And that would have been better than this one at 6%. So you might have a question like that where they give you two different scenarios, like two different types, and then you have to compare them. So just because it's compound doesn't mean it's always going to be better. only if the interest rates are the same. Okay. And that's about it for this stuff. Like I said, it looks confusing at first, but once you've done it a few times, you'll be fine. So you can start working on the assignment on page 32, which is for compound interest. It's kind of fun, actually. You'll enjoy it. You'll smile lots.